Hello everybody, Jake, your resident content cowboy here, Yeehaw, and we have early footage of the Groudon map, the first footage that has been released. It's going to be broken down in this, and we're also going to see a ton of Pawmot stuff in this video. Apparently a couple of content creators in Japan got a chance to actually play the map and Pawmot early, so we're going to be breaking down all of that here today. And this video is auto-dubbed, I guess, which is kind of cool, so we'll get to hear this explanation in English, and we'll take a look at it at the same time. Let's go ahead and start getting into it here. I cannot wait to see Thea Dry Ruins.
Hello everyone, it's Safu. I was recently at the Pokemon Company and got to play the grad map that will be implemented on September 4th in it.
That's right, so this week the map is coming out. It's like so fast, I can't believe it. Like, they are starting year 4 right after Worlds, like they're going right into it.
Advance. Yay!
Yay.
I was given special permission this time, so I'm going to talk to you all about the...
He was given special permission. Now, I want to point out I was not given the same special permission. Am I mad about it? Let's watch the rest of the video.
Differences between the Rexa map and the Groudon map, and what you should do. Please learn about the Groudon map in this video and stand out from the other players.
Yeah.
I will continue to deliver the latest information to you on this channel in an easy to understand...
And by the way, I'll have links to these videos in the description. Shout out to them. It's very cool that they got to check this out. I've seen like some bits and pieces of what's changed in the map. So one thing, the raid pit seems insane.
So please subscribe to the channel and give it a thumbs up.
And the
There
Natsus are
3 topics
back.
in total. 1. Differences in wild Pokemon and their appearance times.
Great.
2. Differences in maps such as grass. 3. Predictions for the environment. I will talk about these. I will also introduce some strong Pokemon along the way. So I would be very happy if you could watch until the end to see what you missed.
I'll do my best.
Please note that this content is based on the test server, so it may change.
By the way, I freaking knew the reason we didn't have Pawmot on the test server is the test server was Groudon. I knew it, dude. Oh, I called it.
When it is implemented. Now, let's get to the main part. Differences in wild Pokemon and their appearance times.
Great.
I will start by explaining the differences between the Rexa map and the Groudon map. I'd like to explain the time from the start of the match until Groudon appears. Although the moves and early vacancies are the same, the Pokemon
You can
that
see the
appear are
Groudon map.
completely
The
different.
Natus are back here in the top
upper and
path.
lower routes have changed drastically. First of all, the first Red Horby appeared at 1234, with 4 of them appearing, but on the Groudon map, only up to 123 Horby appears. As a result, the amount of early experience healing that can be obtained with certainty has decreased.
Wow. Okay, so we're dropping a bunny in the paths, like moving up. I wonder if this is going to make EXP share like that much better because there's less experience now.
And the culture of leaving Sanyo Horby as the norm has changed to leaving 3 Horby. Next, I'll explain the wild Pokemon that appear early on the upper route. Up until now, the upper route had a Ujoran in the center of the bottom at 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah, we
Then,
got the
a
Baltoy.
Horby would appear above and below each other's goal. And
Uh-huh.
at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, a Horby would appear in the center of the top.
Correct.
However, on the Groudon map, a Horby appears in the center of the top at 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Oh, wow. Okay, so now the fight... This has a lot of elements of the 500 point mode, it feels like.
And another Horby appears below each other's goal. Surprisingly, Ujoran has been released. The next wild Pokemon appears at 9 minutes and 20 seconds. A Natty appears in the center of the bottom for the first...
Okay, so we only get the 3... And obviously you've got that one in the center that's like hotly contested, but there are a few different strategies to this, right? You could like head straight for this Bunnelby right here and contest it, but you could also sneak and grab this right into a goal.
First time in a while, and a Holby appears on the upper part of the territory. Furthermore, a wild Pokemon appears at 9 minutes and 10 seconds. A Holby appears near where Regidrago appeared.
Oh, wow. So there's another one at 9:10 now.
And a Holby with a value of 5 appears behind the goal of your own territory.
So, oh wow, so there's another contested that you can fight over, plus there's the safe experience in the back at 9:10 instead of 9 minutes.
Not appear, and you are completely out of luck. So a total of 7 Polbys appear on the upper route.
Wow.
And including Natty, they send experience points. What this suggests is that in order to increase the competition for wild Pokemon, if you use Lucario or Zacia, which are strong in the early game, you can snowball a lot on the upper route. It seems that placing Pokemon that are strong in the early game on the upper route will become the mainstream. Now, I will explain the flow of hunting on the upper route. So let's go over the order in which they appear. First, after taking 12 Holbees, take the position of the Holbee in the center of the top that appears at 9 minutes and 40 seconds and compete for the last hit.
Yeah, obviously, so what he's talking about right here is just like how you want to contest this farm with your opponents. Obviously, all of the farm is up to grabs for anyone, right? So you want to be really good at last hitting, and you want to fight over the contested farm as quickly as you can so that you can get a level advantage.
Return to the lower part of your territory and borrow Holbees from each other. After buying Holbees on the lower side, compete for the position of the Natty in the center that appears at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, and compete for Natty. Before taking the Holbee on the top of the base that appears at 9 minutes and 20 seconds, be sure to fight over the Holbee in the middle that appears at 9 minutes and 10
That 9-minute, 10-second one is going to be a huge fight too.
After that is done.
By the way, think of like how powerful Leafeon is now too. Like anything that can clear jungle fast and get there quickly, it's just like so much more powerful.
Return to the base, win the Holbee, and then borrow the Holbee and Sir Holbee behind the goal and head to the middle battle at 8 minutes and 50 seconds.
So 850 is still there.
I will explain the lower route. The routes we have done so far have had Yi appear in the upper middle at 9 minutes and 45 seconds.
Right.
Holbee appear on the upper side in front of each other's goal at 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Jesus appear on the lower side. And finally, Jesus appears in
Do they call it is it the translation for Indeedee Jesus?
9 minutes and 15 seconds. On the Groudon map, first, 2 Holbees appear in the lower middle at 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Okay, so the first fight is over these 2. That's interesting. And you can like draw them into your tall grass.
Then Jesus appears above each other's goal at 9 minutes and 35 seconds. And Yi appears on the lower side at 9 minutes and 30 seconds.
Wow. Wow. So and they're staggered too, which is really interesting.
Then Holbee appears in the upper middle at 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
Jeez.
Finally, Yeejoran appears behind your own goal at 9 minutes and 10 seconds.
Okay.
And Yeejoran was not defeated on the lower route. So, originally, there were 4 Ys and 2 Horbees on the lower route. But on the Groudon map, they have been changed to 4 Ys and 3 Horbees.
Okay.
Since there's no 4th Horbee in 1234, it appears in love, so the flow of the match will likely change significantly depending on who can get the Horbee that appears at 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Now, let's explain the flow of hunting on the lower route. So let's go over the order in which they appear. First, after getting 12 Horbees, take the position of the Horbee in the middle of the lower area that appears at 9 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
And compete to get the last hit. After that, borrow the Ys on the upper side of your own territory that appears at 9 minutes and 35 seconds.
Or pressure your opponent, because like if you have the ability to last hit and you're like moving right here, you know, and moving up towards this, anything with good secure potential is going to look for a steal here on both sides, really.
And borrow the Ys on the lower side that appears at 9 minutes and 30 seconds. After that, compete to get the position of the Horbee in the middle that appears at 9 minutes and 15 seconds, and compete to get the Horbee. Once that is done, borrow the Yeejoran and Sun Horbee behind the goal.
Yeah.
And head to the middle battle at 8 minutes and 50 seconds.
So 850 still the fight there as well.
The wild Pokemon that appear in the early stages are quite different. There are no changes to the wild Pokemon on the final center route. The experience hasn't changed, so you can borrow it as usual. However, the important thing is the timing of 9 minutes. What a timing! Natalia will appear in the place where the center used to appear.
Well, they appear at 9 minutes. So jungle might move up to lane, and it definitely could to help a fight. You also could go for this.
This gives you the option of going straight to the eye, or winning the Natalia in the center first.
Yeah.
Also, since the overall experience of taking the center route increases, it's easier to macro to make a level 6 Amaho or Glaceon. But on the other hand, since you'll be farming without the cover of your allies, it can be dangerous to borrow Natalia if the opponent's center route is a strong Pokemon on the same board. Due to the competition for slime on this center route, I feel that the center route will be dominated by speed types with high starting power and strong early game.
I think that, I mean, if you can pressure a lane really fast, that would be very, very important. I totally agree.
What you should do on each route from the beginning until 8 minutes and 50 seconds. Next, I'll introduce Regidrago, which has been the talk of the town since the information was released. Regidrago starts counting at 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
Okay, so 8 minutes we have Regidrago. So there's no longer the 8-minute bird spawn in the middle. It's now 8-minute Regidrago that walks.
There are no Pokemon around. Once it has moved down to the bottom, it will then start walking towards the top. It will always walk up and down like this if no one attacks. My impression after actually fighting it was that it was quite strong for a Pokemon to defeat in the early game. If you land a last hit on Regidrago, only the Pokemon that landed the last hit will receive a buff that accelerates your goal by 20 points. For some reason, it wasn't written on the official website, but it seems that nearby Pokemon or the entire team will gain a large amount of experience points while you're attacking or when you land it. Whether this is a bug or a feature won't be known until September 4th. Incidentally, this buff speeds up your goal just as much as when you activate the goal accelerator, and it allowed—
Oh wow, so it's like having Goal Getter on.
you to easily score a 40-point goal. This makes Gorma seem strong. However, one thing to be careful about with Regidrago is that, unlike the Regis-type objects that appear up and down, Regidrago has no healing effect. This is too dangerous. Because of this, even if you work hard to land a Regidrago while fighting a team
Yeah, you
battle
could just
with your
get
opponent,
KO'd right away.
If your health is low, you'll easily be overpowered by weak enemy Pokemon that...
That's a really good point. Because a lot of times, maybe people are not realizing this. I'm sure that a lot of you watching this are. But when you're taking, you know, that bottom objective, there's also a huge amount of HP that you normally grab from it. So you kind of like win twice when you get it, you know?
Later. So unless you have a very strong early game lineup or are in a position where you can land it with a high probability by using the opponent's Pokemon. It's also not a Pokemon that you can easily get by yourself like Chilte, so trying to get it in solo ranks can be a trap. You can check the minimap to see if your opponent is touching...
I wonder if the
Regidrago.
Rippers will
So
have
if they are,
trouble with
you
it.
should
Like, I wonder if
approach them to
Garchomp will have
defeat
trouble just ripping it down.
After defeating Regidrago, it seems that either Regidrago or Chilte will appear again every 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Okay.
From what I experienced playing on the test server, the appearance rate of Chilte was quite high, exceeding 90%. Next up, we'll talk about the 7-minute timing object that everyone is paying attention to. Up until now, Regieleki would appear on the upper route,
Yep.
and one random Regi-type Pokemon would appear
And
on
now
the
it's
lower
like
route.
random.
But on the Groudon map, Regi will appear on either the top or bottom, and one random Regi-type Pokemon will appear on the opposite side. In other words, what will appear on either side is completely random, and you won't know until it appears at 7
Gonna get a coin flip every game, not knowing which one goes where. That's actually really interesting.
minutes. For example, if Regi appears on the lower route, either Regirock, Registeel, or Regice will appear on the upper route. Rest assured, the second appearance will occur in the same place as the first. So if Regi appears once in 7 minutes on the lower route, Regi will definitely appear on the lower route next time.
Okay.
However, since it is not known which side will appear first in each match, the theory of the match will of course change from before, and the goal that is easy to destroy will change every match. Therefore, I think that people with experience and knowledge will be able to win a lot of games at first on the Groudon map. Now for the last one, Groudon.
This is so interesting. If you look at this pit, man, having no bushes around this pit is actually crazy. You're so exposed fighting here.
Groudon gets the last hit, it will grant the entire team a large amount of recovery, a small amount of shield, and a mark called the Groudon buff, which is a red buff or blue buff. This mark will last until it is KO'd, and it will not disappear on its own even if the shield is gone.
So you get a shield, but the shield is not the buff. The shield is just a shield that you get. And it gives recovery, he said, right? Let me see what that looks like.
Until it is KO'd. Mark called the
Let me look
buff,
at Blissy's
which is
HP.
a red buff or blue buff. This mark will last until it is KO'd.
Okay.
And it will not disappear on its own even if the shield is gone. In addition to greatly increasing the damage dealt, this buff will also greatly increase the speed of reaching the goal. The big difference from Rex is that the goal will be blocked by attacks or CC from jump pads.
Wow. Okay, so you do get increased goal scoring speed, but it is no longer unstoppable. Dude, the end game in Unite is going to change so much. I feel like skill expression in the end game is going to go through the roof.
This means that you will not lose just because you have been taken by Groud. Also, like the red and blue buffs, this buff can be stolen by walking a Pokemon with the buff. In other words, even if you have taken the Groud, you will not be able to let your guard down until the very end. So, as a common scenario, if you expose your teeth and go to the enemy camp and they respond lightly, the buff will be passed to the opponent, and you will lose the game. I think this often happens at first. Everyone who has watched this video, please do not take it lightly. Please rest assured that even if your ally Pokemon is defeated, the buff will only be applied to the Pokemon that defeated it.
Right.
So just because one Pokemon is defeated does not mean that the buff will be applied to all of your opponents.
Right. I obviously wouldn't expect that. But that is interesting that when the buff, like, let's say you triple KO your opponents, you did take out 3 of them with buffs, but you didn't distribute the buffs at all. There will be some strategy around this, but in uncoordinated games, I think you're just going to have to take what you can get, probably.
However, another thing to be careful of is that if your supporter KOs the opponent's Groudon buffed Pokemon, the damage boosting effect of the Groudon buff will only apply to the supporter and will not be useful at all.
Right.
So you will need to give the code to your carry. This can completely eliminate the possibility of a serious comeback. So be careful not to give the code to your carry when...
Be careful, solo queue allies, to not take the Groudon buff. Oh man, I can see so many situations where this happens. Oh dude, it's gonna be brutal.
Buff. Now, let's take a look at how much the Groudon buff actually increases damage and how much it increases goal acceleration.
Yeah.
As you can see, even if you are fighting Rexa against Stamina, You will not be able to defeat the Groudon buffed Pokemon as long as it has the buff. It will end up being a return attack. Here you can see how insane the firepower of Skyfire is.
Wow.
Conversely, if you take the Groudon buff yourself, you can dominate like this.
Wow.
Now let's take a look at the goal speed. With 17 points, you can reach the goal at this speed, and you can see that your teammates can also reach the goal with 50 points.
It looks like similar speed to Ray, right?
The grass cover. I think everyone has mastered wild Pokemon.
I'll say I still think the end game is going to be, look, if you team wipe and you all have the Groudon buff, it's likely that you still won the game, right? But it is cool that jump pads stop it, CC stops it, so they can make an assault towards a goal zone. You guys like get a hard stop there, take 2 shields, and all of a sudden things start swinging back in a huge way.
I will explain the
That's
changes
so
to the grass
exciting.
map. This is what the Groudon map looks like. The first thing we can see from this is that the grass cover is very different. Let's take a look from above. The biggest difference on the upper route is that the grass cover on the lower side in front of the goal has disappeared. This means that the ambush positions to repel the opponent's goal push are limited to the grass cover on the LG or the grass cover on the up.
This was like, obviously, this is a moment, right? This is like a space where enemies would come up getting ready to attack the goal zone. They'd hide in this grass right here, or you'd kind of hide in this grass right here, not showing them that you're ready to defend. Interesting that that's gone.
Upper side. Also, in the battle against Natty, which goes to the center, you can only
The battle
hide
against
grass
Natty,
cover in
bro.
the middle, and you can no longer pull Natty into the grass cover to hide.
Yeah.
So you can expect fierce fighting from the beginning. There's another
Picking bad lane Pokemon is going to be even worse now. Like picking bad lane Pokemon feels like it's going to be punished so much harder.
change to the upper route, and that is the grass cover at the second goal. The
Oh,
lack of
yeah.
grass here means that you can't ambush and intercept when Regia pushes above.
Yeah.
It's harder to defend the goal, making it easier to create 3S.
Interesting.
And even if Regia doesn't
And I know
appear,
they've lowered the
you
amount
can't
of
ambush,
points
so
that
it's
you need for
easier
the
to
top
succeed
goals
in
and
a
raise
simple
them in
goal
like the
escape
tier
or
2
push.
bottom or whatever.
In a Groudon environment, I feel like the key is whether you can get a good view of the upper goal. Next is the area around the center. The first notable thing is that the tooth-shaped grass has disappeared.
Which this is like one of the biggest changes right here for this Ray fight. It's kind of crazy. But there's also this L-Bush change. Like the Ray fight's going to be way
In
different.
addition, the L-shaped grass has been changed to a small grass that looks like a key. This makes it incredibly difficult to hide in the grass to take unilateral view when the opponent roams, or to ambush and co when roams. So I predict that Pokemon with guaranteed hit moves and strong roams, such as Assist Power Effie and Volt Tackle Pikachu, will become quite strong. Also, since the field of vision is much clearer in the late game battle against Groudon, I think ADCs with guaranteed hit attack...
I was just about to say, ADCs are going to kind of love this, right? Because without anything obscuring you, like, you can just A press them the whole time. There's nowhere for you to go. You can't like break the vision so the A press can't, track you anymore.
Like Ace Bar,
Yeah.
as well as Pokemon
Attackers in general.
like Junai Bar and Mystery Bar will be strong because they can easily land their moves and find enemies quickly. At the moment, it feels like assassins have a harder time getting through the late game due to
Absolutely.
the lack of grass, making it harder for them.
It's probably, this is a really interesting thought of balancing this, right? Is speedsters and stuff are going to be so good early and so important with more experience and more like kind of timers ticking up. It'll be more important for you to quickly get to lanes, deal damage, burst down, and influence fights. However, towards the end game, they're nerfed because they're way more vulnerable. They're out in the open. It's harder to make sneakier plays.
Them to be effective. But the lack of grass means they won't be ambushed by enemies and can safely get through to the goal.
Yeah.
But conversely, the lack of grass in the middle may make it easier for maids to get to the King of Kings. And then there's the jump pad that many people were curious about. The jump pad is still there.
Yeah.
However, the grass that was in front of the lower jump pad is no longer on the Groudon map. This means that you can no longer ambush enemies.
This is such an important place that people like play with this grass and fight when they're near these tier 2s. Dude. So big.
Arbaf or surround enemies trying to get to the lower goal. However, unlike the upper goal, the grass behind the goal has disappeared, but the grass right next to it remains, so use this grass when looking at the second goal. Overall, the upper goal is easier to destroy and the lower goal is easier to defend. It's not just the grass that's changed. The number of points required to
it's
destroy
easier
the
to
goals
break
has
the
also
top
changed.
goals now.
Previously, the first goal at the top and bottom could only be destroyed after scoring 80 points, and the second goal after scoring 100 points. However, from the Groudon map, the first goal on top is worth 70 points, while the first goal on the bottom remains 80 points. The second goal has also changed, with the second goal on top now worth 90 points, and the second goal on the bottom worth 120 points. The total score hasn't changed to 360 points on either map, but the top goal is much easier to destroy. Here's a special tip for those of you who want to get better at standing still on the Groudon map. If you destroy the top goal too early, your opponent will generate a lot of Jesuses, giving you
yeah, you will.
one-sided advantage in experience points. So I feel like the mainstream strategy in future tournaments will be to let your opponent destroy your top goal, while you push into their bottom goal without destroying their top goal.
You got to
Since
get
the
those
top
free
goal only
Jesuses,
gets 70
baby.
Points, if you destroy the bottom goal and score 80 points, you'll gain a point advantage, and since more Jesuses will appear than your opponent, you'll gain an experience advantage, which is quite a bonus. It seems like the goal of destroying the bottom goal is the same as in the Reckless map. Environment predictions finally, I will predict what Pokemon will become stronger and weaker, and what kind of playstyles will be required. These are predictions, so they may be incorrect from the actual environment. First, on the upper route, of course, experience points will increase, but fistfights will be important. And I think Pokemon with movement moves like Zacian and Lucario that are strong in both last hitting and hitting will be rampant. So it might be a good idea to practice with such early game strong Pokemon now. Next is...
Yeah, I mean, once again, I mean, a good top laner will be very, very important, right?
The central route. At first, I thought that ADCs like S Moonlight Sprite might be strong on the central route, but I thought it would be quite difficult with the long range and assassins that I will introduce later. Also, since the central cheese cannot be triggered unless you defeat Regidrago, the side that is doing the snowballing will not have enough experience points. So, it is inevitable that you will need to go to the volcano on the opponent's central route, and manage the upper and lower areas more than ever before. So Pokemon that are weak in the early game will be weak to Fire Sparrow, and may not be able to stop the opponent's snowballing. Alternatively, since taking Groudon doesn't mean you win, you can use strong Pokemon in the early game to widen the score gap. Ignore the final Groudon, and just defend in front of the goal, and take the Ko and steal the Groudon buff. So I expect that strong early game Pokemon like Dodori, Absol, and Leafeon will continue to run wild on the center route. Finally, the bottom route, since there's no need to worry...
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I was just saying this before. I really do think we're going to see a crazy amount of speedsters really start to dominate early, and they're going to need to. And like the fight around Ray, now Groudon, feels way different, and it like impacts the game in a very different way. I hope they give this like time to marinate, because I think at first bad players are going to do worse on this, which is exactly what happened with Day of Sky Ruins, and then they sort of adjusted it so that it became a little more forgiving if you make mistakes, right?
I think it's very strong to use Mew, which has long range and is good at roam, or Effie, which specializes in roam. If you're only thinking about the final grad map battle, Mew and Intel are particularly strong because they can see the opponent's Pokemon clearly and make sniping easy. And that's all for the explanation of the grad map. To get off to the best start on the grad map starting on September 4th, if you start to forget the content, go back and review it again to learn it before the other players.
Awesome. This was really good. Really informative, super in-depth. Obviously, once I get to play it, I'll give some of my takes on it as well, but I love this. I want to take a look at Pawmot as well, because I know Ton GG got to play Pawmot. This is not translated, so I'm going to be turning off the audio right here. He's running Pawmot with a Muscle Band, a Razor Claw, and an attack weight here. And it looks like the start of it, he's just cooking before he heads into lane, slowing it down. First attack has a little bit of a dash to it, and you can see the paralyze effect being put onto this Cram right here, going in for the KO. Deciding to clear center as fast as possible, get up at level 4. And you can see they're like just got level gated right there. Hits their level 5, they get to evolve. And they pick their first move here. This is kind of this wave attack. Still have the dash on that second one that it looks like slash almost. And I don't know if this is like Thunder Wave or Thunder Punch. I'm not sure. Moving forward here. Just continuing to, like, literally just being pocketed by a Blissey. Seems pretty good. Just Blissey pocketing a little brawler right here. Going in for the KO on Cram. Mamo coming in. The KO, like, it seems like, is it the boosted that paralyzes is what we're getting out of Pawmot? I think, right? And maybe other parts of its kit too? Or is it after slash you get it? It has a gauge that's building up under it. What is that gauge? Yeah, it seems like after Slash, that gauge is like the time where you can use your move. Next move being chosen once you evolve at level 7. This is a new dash that has 2 instances of a dash to it. So it's kind of like the upgraded version of Slash, it seems like. I don't know if this is like Volt Tackle or something like that. Kind of looks like it, right? 2 dashes right there. Razor Claw seems very good when you have all of these like moves that kind of combo with each other right into melee. Going for it. The first one's a sure hit, right? Which seems really powerful. I mean, obviously they're just being pocketed so hard by this Blissey, but this does feel very strong. It's hard to say though, because when you're pocketed by, when you're literally pocketed by a Blissey the entire time, it's like, yeah, you're doing great, buddy. Level 8 here. Almost got the Unite move. And from what I understand, when you use your Unite move, your moves change. So it kind of like changes the... It's like you get upgraded versions of your move effects, which is cool. Here comes the Unite. Dashing in. Another sure hit. And yeah, these are like upgraded versions of your moves, it looks like, for a short time being. And now they're back. Did the icons change? They do, yeah. The icons for the moves change. I don't know if it's based on your kit or you always get the same upgrade. That'll be really interesting, right? Fight didn't go too well. Even with that Unite move. Possible Regidrago. The Clefable on the other side putting in some serious work, right? You are critting. I don't know how much natural crit is in the kit, but I have to assume at least a decent amount because it's unlikely that the Razor Claw by itself is providing all of those critical hits, right? We're going to see them try to fight at this goal zone. Nice little follow me right there. Beautiful score. And you can see that was with the Regidrago buff. That's how fast they scored there. Wow. Trying to move in. The double dash is the second dash is not a sure hit. Right? I don't think so. I think the second dash is just a dash, but it looks quite good. The mobility is obviously incredible, you know. It's set up to brawl super well, but also it has like some vibes of the dive of a speedster, right? Which is pretty cool. But once it gets in, it looks like it is very much brawling all-rounder style. Heading to the top here. Looking for a fight. We've got a Unite move. Going for Absol. Absol gets taken down super fast right there. Cram Unite. Cram will be even better in the Ray Pit, by the way. Nowhere to hide from all of its attacks, right? That'll be pretty sweet. Well, I'm waiting to see if he pops the X attack going in for his Unite move, right? He uses the X attack after his Unite lands, just going into fight right here. See how quickly he's like striking. I wonder if Scope will be okay on this even. You probably get so much value out of Muscle, so much value. Like Razor feels like you get so much value, and then attack weight to power everything up. But you know, with all of the autos that you do in between these combos, it does feel like there could be a combination where you're playing, you know, Scope, maybe even Scope and Razor. But it would depend on what your natural crit is. Because if your natural crit's not high enough, it doesn't matter. It does feel like some of your attacks aren't that like some of your autos aren't that amazing. But I mean, 1,000-point crit right there, almost. Like 900 points seems pretty great. $13 at 4 minutes. Going to be pretty powerful. I don't know what the plus versions do. I didn't actually notice. I didn't notice the plus version. Like what the difference is. I didn't notice if it was like a cooldown thing. Moved in with the Unite move. Going for some KOs on the tier 2. Looking for Clefable, obviously, if it could take it out, and it does. Absolute Unite. Fortunately, didn't get much done there. Double KO. Yeah, Pawmot seems strong. But again, it's being fully pocketed. The other side has like it kind of being pocketed too with a Clefable. Which you want to show off the new Pokemon, so you probably want to pocket it a little bit, right? Every all-rounder's better with, like, literally a Blissey tailing you the entire time. Can you get him? Ah, I just missed him. It does feel like some of these attacks I'm kind of surprised they're not doing more, but it is KOing things pretty well. But, like, sometimes I'm like, huh, I expected more of a burst from that. I'm not seeing... It doesn't generate its own shields, does it? It has, like, some recovery in something. One of its attacks has, like, good recovery. Is it the Thunder Wave thing almost has good... Or Thunder Punch or whatever it looks like? Or no, it's the Switch? I can't tell which it is. Is it the boosted? Which thing is giving it recovery? You go for the switch, and then you hit. It's like after the first hit of the switch? Or is it every boosted that it's happening? It's that bar under it. Every time that bar is generated, that's like your time to get recovery, huh? Yeah. And that bar is generated on both moves after you throw it. Is it every time you throw any move that bar is generated? And you get recovery on it? Now I wish I practiced my Duolingo. Interesting. Alright, heading to the Ray fight. What is this Absol doing? Okay. 2 down. He's decided to go get red buff. Might be a mistake. He's just farming. He wants his 15. Okay. They are up, so I guess they can chill for a second. He just really wants level 15 here. Bit of a greedy play, but at the same time, it'll make him really powerful, right? Groudon is on the map. It's doing Groudon things. Cram, doing Cram things. And they're not really looking to fight Groudon. It looks like they're looking, yeah, they're here to take bodies. Nice Ice Fang right there. Really shuts him down. Good Bliss assistance. Cram actually putting in some work in some of these moments. And it's getting low. Absol gets it. And now we're going to see if Pawmot can stand with the Absol damage. Maybe not. They were trying to, like, take the fight at Groudon just to the opponents, right? Now let's see if they can defend. They're going to watch this goal zone here. The HP recovery is really big. I mean, look at that. It says phone was out of battery. Is that what that warning was? You're recording all this? You don't have it plugged in? Brother. Zera gets one of the buffs. Greedon gets one of the buffs. The final buff on that Clefable, but it's like not that valuable for the enemy team. It's valuable for their team. Trying to get to him. You have a lot of mobility in this kit. Zera takes the KO, so they move in to score. Wow. Pawmot looks really cool, but it's also just so cool seeing the new map, right? Okay. Does he show damage? Not that it's like a huge deal. He was literally pocketed all game. 200,000, sure. Sure. All right, let's see the other moves. Now he's moving through the center without a pocket. He's even got a Gengar that's... I don't know what's going on there. Heading to the top path. This is a different move. I didn't spend a ton of time looking at this before at the, you know, when they were just level 4. They're coming right in with the level 3 here, which feels wild, but looking for a score. It's got the X speed. Split center with the Gengar. Right into the Natus. I wonder if split center is going to become more popular. That HP recovery on these moves is really solid. So he's got a focus band now. Goes down. Level 6 on the other side. That's pretty scary. Yeah, I mean, look, because you think it's getting low, but every time it hits one of those moves and gets recover, it's pretty dang solid, dude. Gengar having to come in, make something happen there. We get level 5. Our first move, oh, it charges up, and then you dash in. You have a leap. Gonna stack. Very important. If you're stacking, you are, of course, like making moments like this happen, yeah? All right, so we've got our first move. Oh, it looks like you can also kind of like fast cast it, and it has an effect afterwards, too. It gets like a second move there. All right, and your other move is going to be... Oh, is that the same one he picked before? You dash in, and then you get a punch from it. Yeah, it's the same one he picked before as the other one, right? Okay. Let's see the fight. Enemy team's crashing bottom goal. Stuck in a great gravity. Here, come try our new Pokemon. Play it into Gravity Clefable. Come check out our new Pokemon content creators. You're going to play it into Gravity, Clefable, and Volt Tackle Pikachu. Oh, thank you so much. I really wanted to see what it was like in the worst environment possible. Got KO'd right there. I wonder what the effect is when they land, because clearly it applies some sort of effect, right? It's got to do something. It does like some damage. The damage didn't seem too considerable. Nice play right there. Good, just going for like a look. He's low. I'm gonna use my like sure hit unite. Feels like it operates almost like Azumarill, right? We are fully stacked. I think we were fully stacked earlier though, right? That's a 500 damage, but it also you get the second punch effect with it too. Do you get 2 opportunities from that with your charged up gauge thing? 1, another. Yeah, I mean, dude, so much recovery in this kit. It is unbelievable. I could see the appeal of a focus band too, because there are a lot of times you're gonna probably get low enough to. Oh my gosh, what is this? All right, Cram, jeez. There are a lot of times you're probably going to be low enough and brawling long enough to take advantage of a focus band. Some Pokemon have issues taking advantage of a focus band because they just get burst too fast, right? But this one, it feels like there might be more opportunities for the focus band to actually proc, and you get all of the healing, plus then you're healing yourself with all your moves. This looks like it's going to be a real fun one, and you're going to have like scissor players are gonna love this, right? Because it's just more scissor, more staying in a fight for an hour. They're just gonna be brawling the enemy team for 2 hours on a tier 2, not showing up to a single fight and being like, I can't believe I lost. I took 180,000 damage and I dealt 500,000 damage. All they're just gonna be doing is brawling the whole time. All right. I like it, man. I think it's going to be a really fun one. And of course, like new map shenanigans. Look at that recovery from the Pawmot on the other side there. Trying to 1v1 this thing is going to be a nightmare, dude. You'll go in, you'll think you got it, and then all of a sudden this thing is on the brink and it's right back in the fight. It's going to be really cool. All right, let's take a look at the Groudon fight. We used to call it the Ray fight. What do we call it now? Do we still call it the Ray fight? I don't know if I can start saying the Groudon fight. What do I gotta say, guys? It's not the Ray fight anymore. It's the Groudon fight. The Grou fight? I can't have it be more than one syllable. I just don't think it works. What happens to when there's a Ray, there's a way? When there's a Groudon, there's a You can get a Powdon. You can get Crowmon. I can't do it. I can't figure it out. Smarter minds need to figure it out. Let me know in the comments what I'm supposed to say here. Oh man, next season Unite's gonna be so sick. I cannot wait. Moving in, good Unite move. Good Crustal Unite, obviously. Holy moly. And Cram. Cram's Unite is so good around Groudon. Get clowned on at Groudon. Get clowned on at Groudon. Dude, we got clowned on at Groudon. No, we were playing good all game. And then, of course, at Groudon, you get clowned on. All right, there you go. Pawmot, new map. I'll have links to both these videos in the description. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I cannot wait to check this out for myself. I have a huge Unite video I'm working on as sort of a send-off to Thea Sky Ruins. But I had to talk about this first. That'll probably come out tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Get clowned on at Groudon.